All right, Marginal Gains fans, coming to you live today from my quarantine COVID-19 basement with the first of what I think is going to be some really fun episodes for everybody. And these are our top 5 episodes. So today's top 5 are the top 5 free, that is $0 marginal gains upgrades that you can make at home. You can even make them at home while under quarantine. So let's get started. Number 5. We're going to start with the descending order here, or I guess ascending order. Number 5, helmet straps. Now let's think about this. We've talked about it before. I don't have my silly helmet on today for everyone to look at, but your helmet straps, flippity floppity in the wind, that's a couple of watts. In fact, we have tunnel tested this to be somewhere in the order of 1 to 3 watts. Now, you know I like to put things in ceramic bearing terms. That is, helmet straps are roughly equal to one of those oversized derailleur cage pulley systems with the ceramic bearings. Call it a $500 upgrade for probably 30 minutes standing in front of a mirror, kind of doing one of these, looking a little bit dapper. You can save yourself 1 to 3 watts. The pro trick there, and I'll try to shoot some B-roll so we can get a little close-up of it, is take the bit at the bottom that wants to hang down. Once everything is really perfect, you're going to want to take and just put a little stitch of thread through that. I like to go through, 4 or 5 times, give yourself a nice little thread, and if you do it with a contrasting color that maybe matches some of the rest of your kit, extra pro points, extra street cred. For you triathletes, I know cyclists tend to be glasses over the straps. Triathletes tend to be glasses under the straps. The glasses under make the straps stick out, and that can cost you a watt or so at 50. So for all you triathletes out there, I would take the extra second or two, get the glasses off, put them back on after the helmet has gone on. And there you go. Number 5. Helmet straps, so pay attention to it. Number 4, clean drivetrain. I know this doesn't sound like much, but if you really think about it, we are all super obsessed with paying for these marginal gains, right? I'm going to go buy the fastest chain lube and the fastest prep chain. There's companies out there that will polish and coat the chains, but honestly, we see couple of watts per like 15 to 20 hours of use. One ride in the rain can be 6 watts of energy lost in a chain. So just keeping it clean, doing what you're doing now, is probably going to save you somewhere on the order of 2 to 6 watts. So keep your eyes peeled. We are going to be putting out a video on how to best clean the chain. And then we're also going to take a deep dive into various lubricants, type of lubricant, how to apply it, what's too much, what's too little, which ones work better than others. But just for you stuck at home doing what you're doing right now, you can go out, get your drivetrain cleaned off, use the lube you've already got, and you are probably talking 2 to 6 watts. And then the key is to really remember to just stay on top of that. That even the fanciest, most expensive $200 time trial chain on the market, about 200 miles in, it's a couple watts slower than it was when you bought it. So again, pay attention to the use of the product, how dirty it gets. If it's making noise, it's costing you watts. So again, 2 to 6 watts, really for a few minutes of your time, free of charge, more or less. Use the lube you've got. We'll cover lube in a future episode. Number 3, and this one is small but huge, and that is shave. Shave your legs. I have seen this in the tunnel to be somewhere on the order of 10 to 15 watts savings. Seriously, 10 to 15 watts for shaving your legs. If you really want to push it, you can shave your arms. You're probably talking somewhere in the 2 to 4 watts. I'm quoting at 50 kilometers an hour here. If you're like me and you're riding a bit slower, good rule of thumb, you can take that wattage at 50 and cut it in half for wattage at 40. So 10 to 15 watts at 50K an hour, you're still talking 5, seven and a half watts at 40K an hour. Again, that is, in order of magnitude terms, we're talking probably 2 times the savings that you would get from a complete bike ceramic bearing upgrade. So that would be wheel bearings, bottom bracket, and oversized derailleur pulleys. Those 3 together, say it's $800 of expense, those 3 together are less savings than just shaving your legs. So if you got hair on them like mine are at the moment, go ahead and get that knocked down and you will appreciate it. Number 2, tire pressure. Now, tire pressure is probably going to find you somewhere between 2 and 8 watts. And I said we're going in ascending order in terms of wattage. And so how is 2 to 8 bigger than 10 to 15? Well, because rolling resistance is linear and aero resistance, or the wattage to overcome aerodynamic drag, rises with the cube of the speed, for most of the speeds that most of us are riding, these rolling resistance things are actually going to be bigger than the aerodynamic effects that are also quite large. So, you know, at 50K an hour, you're probably talking somewhere between 2 and 8 watts on the tires that you have. If you want to take a look at our site, we've got some stuff up there now with rolling resistance of different models of tire, you know, latex versus butyl inner tubes. You can see with a tire pressure change 2 to 8, but with a tire inner tube change to one of the best products on the market, we can honestly probably find you somewhere in the order of 15 to 25 watts, depending on what you are riding right now. And so those are huge, huge savings. And of course, from 50 to 40, that reduction is only about 20%, not the 50% reduction that we see with the aero drag. So if it's a 20 watt savings, you know, you're probably still saving about 16 watts at 40 miles an hour. So these rolling resistance differences can be really huge. We also have a tire pressure calculator that you can use for free on our site. We will link to it right here below, that you can start finding your optimal pressure. And remember, you are always better to be a little low than a little high. If you have questions there, refer to our episode on asymmetry, the asymmetry of tire pressure, which helps explain why you'd rather be in the casing loss zone than in the impedance zone of the air pressure curve. Lastly, number 1, and this is probably going to surprise some people, but I've talked about it before, so maybe not. The big one, clothing wrinkles. Okay, now this one, I know we talked about free, we talked about the stuff that's already in your closet, but clothing wrinkles can be one of the number 1 causes of drag for the rider's body. Quick story on this, probably 2001 tunnel testing with Lance Armstrong and Nike, and they had spent a fortune developing the Swift Spin or Swift Skin, there were 2 versions, can't remember which came first, suit at a wind tunnel in Washington State. They showed up at the tunnel where we were with the suit in a special box. They told us the suit was probably between $6,000 and $10,000 per copy, made with a super special directional lycra that was supposed to have very low skin friction drag. And we put it on them and we found almost nothing in terms of savings. So Nike was quoting something on the order of 3 minutes per 40K, and the testing we did, I think, found something like maybe 12 to 15 seconds per 40K. The difference being the suit they brought had been tailored to fit the dummy they were using. And when Lance put it on, he had wrinkles in the shoulders, wrinkles around the midsection, and particularly the wrinkles around the thighs can really just be killer. So trying to get those out, get the fit, you know, maybe you know, hop on your trainer and have someone just kind of work some of the wrinkles out and figure out how the clothing you own now can best fit you. The last thing you can do, and this gets into spending a little bit of money, but you know, a couple of the pro teams, Ineos Sky being probably the most famous one, actually travel to major tours with a tailor. They know this is such a big factor in terms of performance and drag that they will actually tailor the clothing to the rider as their body is changing over the course of a Tour de France, or a large 3-week tour like that. And that is on top of the fact that the pros typically, depending on the brand, they get between 16 and 20 size options, where I think the rest of us get something like 4, right? So, you know, think about it that $100 spent at the tailor may make your existing skin suit almost as fast as the super fancy $700,000-$800,000 skin suit that you are looking for online while you're stuck at home with the COVID-19 crisis. So there you go. Those are my top 5 free marginal gains, and a couple little areas where you can maybe take some deeper dives to see how you can spend a tiny bit of money and take even further advantage of them. Hey, thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.